With that said, one of these sneakers unfortunately has a flaw that makes one edge over the other. Hey everyone, welcome to another sneaker review with me. And today I'm going to be doing a comparison video between the NOTWOWAYS OG silhouette via the Sapphire colorway and the NOTWOWAYS Arrow silhouette via the After Darks. But before we get started, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help a lot. A big percentage of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet. Hi, how you doing? So if you haven't yet, leave a like on this video. If you like this type of content, that's what the like button is for. And I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help a lot. Please and thank you. Now again, this isn't purely meant to be a review between the Sapphires and the After Darks specifically. What I hope to do was kind of make a guide for NOTWOWAYS sneakers, because I personally don't see much of a difference between the colorways of each respective line. Although of course there are differences between the OG silhouette and the Arrow silhouette, which I'll be getting into today. And just a side note, yes, I am aware that the synergies that came out recently as of recording this video did have a little bit of tweaks and upgrades in the design and materials. So even though there's gonna be a bit of a difference with the aesthetic and the shape of the sneaker, I still think that the synergies and all the sneakers to follow that, if they continue to choose that design, will be too different from the previous sneakers that came before the synergies, such as the Sapphires, at least for the most part. So in this review, I'll be dividing it into 3 categories, with the last one having 2 subcategories. Hopefully by the end of it, you can drum up your own conclusion on which is best for you. Let's start off with the style. This is preferential, of course, and depends on what style you're more attracted to. If you're more into the chunky dad shoe fashion style, the OG NOTWOWAYS silhouette would be perfect for you. If you like a more sharp, sleek, and dart-like shoe, of course, their Arrow silhouettes are the way to go, as seen in these After Darks. Although to be fair, the Arrows still seem to be in the realm of the chunky dad shoe vibe because of how thick the midsole is, but of course there's still an obvious difference in aesthetics. I guess you can kind of look at it as the OG as a Porsche and the Arrows as a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. There's nothing wrong with any of those brands, they're all luxury sports cars. I personally like Porsche out of the 3, and I'm sure some of you guys will beg to differ. It just comes down to personal preference. The second category that I want to talk about is the availability. I decided to add this category because maybe some of you guys are wondering, or maybe even telling yourselves, what's the point of watching a comparison video if I can't get any of the sneakers? Although if some of you guys are watching just because you like my videos in general, thank you very much. I've mentioned this in almost every of my NOTWOWAYS sneaker reviews up to this point, and as of recording, the NOTWOWAYS Arrow Apricities are still available on the NOTWOWAYS website. So if you're a fan of the Arrow silhouette, that one would be perfect for you. If not, maybe you're more attracted to these specific colorways or the other previous colorways that sold out. With anything in the retail market, you can basically find them in resale sites or aftermarket sites. And in my personal opinion, the resale prices aren't so bad, except for of course the OG NOTWOWAYS Exuberant, because it is the first sneaker to come out for the brand. So good on NOTWOWAYS for always having a sneaker that's readily available to the public. I personally think it would be cool for NOTWOWAYS to come out with an OG silhouette that's sort of the Apricity counterpart, where it's sort of always readily available, it's mass produced, it won't sell out so that everyone can try the OG NOTWOWAYS, but maybe in the future. The last category that we'll be talking about, and I believe is the most important one, is the on-foot experience. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I divided this into 2 subcategories, the first one being the fit and the second one being the comfort. Starting off with the fit, this is probably the most difficult part of the review, because number one, it's a pretty new silhouette, so there's not much of a point of comparison, not like you have with Nike and Adidas and New Balance, where you could kind of try on a specific silhouette in a different colorway before getting the one that you want. And I've mentioned this in my previous reviews of NOTWOWAYS, these sneakers only come in full sizes, there are no half sizes available as of yet, so you're almost forced to take a gamble on going up or down a size just so that you get your perfect fit. Me, for example, I am a true to size 11.5, but because my feet are wide, I always go a 12 in all my sneakers, unless it's a narrow silhouette such as the Jordan 1s, the Dunks, the SBs, where I usually go up half or a full size just to get a comfortable fit. And for both these silhouettes, I went a UK 11 or a US 12, and I will tell you now, they do not feel the same at all. It's real tricky because both of the sneakers fit on the bigger side where they're kind of loose, but it's definitely to a different degree for each one. For the OGs, it makes sense for me to have a little bit of space and length because I am a true to size 11.5, but the extra width of my wide feet are kind of what compensate and take up the extra space. So I really wouldn't recommend going down a size. Like for me, for example, if I were to go down to a UK 10 or a US 11, because it might end up being too tight by 0.5 inches, unless you 100% know yourself that you have more than average narrow feet, then maybe you could get away with going down half a size. I think in my my opinion, it's always better to go bigger than to go smaller, because with bigger shoes, you could kind of get away with it by wearing bigger socks or space fillers compared to a shoe that's smaller or tighter, which you might not end up being able to wear. For the Arrow silhouettes though, from my experience, they're a lot looser than the OGs. I chalk it up to the fact that it's a knit upper, so it's more flexible, it's more loose compared to the different combination of materials that you see on the OG silhouette. But the question is it loose enough to go down a size? I'm unfortunately not comfortable to give you guys a definite answer, but maybe this last subcategory might help you guys decide, which of course is the comfort of the sneaker. I say this in every single sneaker review. When it comes to buying sneakers, it doesn't matter what the name is, the brand, the colorway, how hype it is, the price. For me, it will always be comfort over everything. And hands down, I've said it in both reviews, and I'll say it in this one, these are super comfortable. The recycled Phylon and rubber midsole and outsole is great. It's very responsive, very flexible, and it does great to cushion your feet when walking. With that said, one of these sneakers unfortunately has a flaw that makes one edge over the other. Because of the previously mentioned looseness of the Arrow silhouette, I personally experienced the elastic knit of the ankle collar ends up scraping the back of your heel when you walk. This is why it's very tricky for me to suggest a sizing for this, because I was thinking maybe if I went down a size, it would be perfect around my ankle, it would hug around my foot better, hence not having enough space to rub on my ankles when I walk. But what would that mean for the other parts of the sneaker? Will the toe box end up being too tight? Maybe the elasticity and flexibility of the knit upper will combat that. Unfortunately, as of now, we won't be able to answer those questions just yet, because you can't exactly walk into a sneaker store and try on a pair in a different size to make sure you get the perfect fit. Maybe someday though. On the bright side, despite that flaw, all of that can be solved if you wear mid to high cut socks to help prevent the ankle collar from rubbing against your skin. But with that said, this leaves the Arrow silhouette as the prince or the princess, giving the crown to the OG silhouette as king or queen. We're inclusive on this channel. What's the non-binary version of king or queen? It really does still surprise me how comfortable these sapphires are on foot. Whether you wear high socks, ankle socks, even no socks for that matter, ankle collar and the inside of the sneaker in general is so silky smooth and well padded that it gives your foot a nice soft hug with every single stride. Plus all the materials of the upper is so premium that it really is a pleasure to walk around in these all day, which as you can see from both the outsoles of these sneakers, I've done with both, and if I had to choose, the OG takes the cake overall. At the end of the day though, I'm extremely lucky to have the best of both worlds, especially with these two specific colorways, because on days, especially in the spring and the summer, when I want to stand out, when I want to be flamboyant, you know, dress up really colorful and bright, the sapphires will definitely do the job. But on days when I want to be low-key, when I want to be sleek, clean, elegant, maybe go monochrome or all black, of course the After Darks would be the perfect sneaker for the job, with the added subtle fire and flare when the reflective hits shine. So hopefully this little comprehensive comparison of mine helps you decide which No Two Way sneaker is best for you. And that is it for my review. What do you think? Are you a fan of the OG silhouette, or are you guys a fan of the Arrow colorways? Leave a comment down below. I love conversing with you guys there. Follow me on Instagram at @AlbiPeralta. I'm a bit more personal there. I post stories almost every day, and I post there when I have a new YouTube video out, so that's one way to get notified. Other than of course subscribing to the channel, guys. It really does help a lot. For those who are still here, I have a giveaway at 600, so you definitely want to subscribe for that. And while waiting, check out the other videos on my channel. As the banner says, I have anything and everything in between on there. And that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys when I see ya. Bye guys. That's cool.